Hello and welcome to the piano masterclasses for YouTube Symphony Orchestra auditions. I'm Lisa Yui and I'm talking to you today from Manhattan School of Music in New York City where I teach. Now, I know that all of you have to prepare at least one movement from Beethoven's 23rd Piano Sonata, the Appassionata. And so in this video, I'll be giving you several pointers on the second movement. Now, this movement is organized as a theme and variations. Specifically, it's a theme with 3 variations, and the theme returns at the end. Although Beethoven doesn't specifically write variation 1, 2, 3, it is quite clear that it is a set of variations. Now, the melody of this variation is really nothing to write home about. So certainly that's not going to be in the top 100 of the Billboard charts. But of course, he adds a wonderful harmony underneath and this almost like a casual rhythm in the left hand. Very, very beautiful theme. Now, with each successive variation, Beethoven actually almost writes in an accelerando. Each variation actually doubles in speed. So the first theme, the theme is written in quarter notes, and variation 1 is written in eighth notes. Variation 2 is written in 16th notes. And finally, in variation 3, Beethoven writes in 32nd notes. And so in order for us to be able to hear this doubling up of speed, we're going to have to maintain a general unifying tempo between the entire movement, or else we won't be able to hear what Beethoven is doing. Of course, it's natural. I think it's very common for us to gradually speed up a little bit with each variation. But you don't want to end up in variation 3 with a completely different tempo, much, much faster, or else you're going to get into a bit of a problem. So if you play, which is much faster than the original, see what I mean? If you make the variation 3 so much faster, when you return to the theme, it's going to sound like you're shifting into a completely different gear. Otherwise, you're going to have to slow down quite significantly in that descending scale, which is also a little awkward, I think. So you want to reach a compromise between the two so that you can play in the theme in a tempo that you like, but the third variation can also move. So let's go back to the theme. Andante con moto, Beethoven writes, leisurely walking pace, but with movement. And I think we can really certainly hear the movement in this left-hand charming rhythm. It's almost like a whistling tune, right? So you don't want to make the theme too heavy and stodgy. Which would make the third variation which I think is a perfectly respectable tempo. And if you want to move it forward a little bit, that's fine. But make sure that you're not creating a completely different tempo from the theme. Now, in addition to Beethoven writing each variation at a faster note value, Beethoven also raises the register with each successive variation. So the first variation is down here. Variation 2 is an octave higher. And variation 3 is yet another octave higher. And so I think it's important for us to recognize what Beethoven is doing, and also it's not just a register shift, but it's a new world. Each register, he gives us a new sound, a new world. And I think we should really think about what kind of sound you want to produce in each of these variations. I find that the variation 1 down here is very warm and earthy. And I find that variation 2 up here, a little brighter, but with still this underlying warmth because you have this cello bass. And variation 3, I find simply luminous. And so when we return to the theme, almost like we're landing back on Earth, right? It's a really wonderful moment. And so those are some of the things that maybe you can think about when you're working on this second movement. So I hope these suggestions have helped you, and I wish you best of luck on your auditions. Thank you.